I don't know if you were able to get off.
Stan, you've been sitting much too long, much too long. Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners, for information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is power. And for whatever reason, this is not working very well.
What's the matter? You're on the wrong one. 2. You're on 2.
I did 2 the last time, it didn't work.
No, 2 is the one. Oh, wait a minute.
You didn't, right?
Sam, help me, I was doing too good. I was doing good, wasn't I?
Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth.
No, you're not there yet. Give me a minute. Okay,
welcome.
now you're there.
Okay,
Now you're there.
welcome. Well, thank you.
You're on 2, so this is 2 here. You don't want to be up too high. I'll get them.
Yeah. Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners, for information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is power. And as always, I want to empower you to take control of your life, those things that impact you, your family, and your community. As always, too, we want you to go to the website at www.gwen-truth.com so you can access that all and powerful information that will make you what? You got it, all powerful. Also want you to go to the website so you can chime in on the question which we have going. And that question, of course, is asking you. Since we're hearing that Amendment 2 is going to pass, do you have any concerns about its impact on youth? Yes, youth getting their hands on it, youth, doing what they do with a lot of these prescription drugs now, which is a major, major drug problem in our area and around the country. So, are you concerned at all? Go on the website so you can respond to that query. Again, www.gwen-truth.com. I am Gwen Azama-Edwards, as I'm sure you know, former city commissioner, retired city clerk, city of Daytona Beach, author, minister at St. John Missionary Baptist Church Incorporated, and community volunteer. And all of those things are things that I either have been, but particularly the current things that I love being and doing. And always being in the community, working for individuals to help our community be as good a community as it can be, and help the individuals that are part of the community be empowered to do that which they have the capacity to do. And that is, of course, to be their best. So welcome to all of our listeners. Shout out to all of the individuals who voted on Tuesday. Shout out to all of the victors, those who won. And shout out as well to those who did not win, who really have, in my opinion, done an outstanding job for us in education, on the education board. Diane Smith, shout out to you. Shout out to Stan Smith. Shout out to Judge Peter McLaughlin, who, in my opinion, should have won that election. But, so speak the people. Anyway, shout out to all of you, and please know that we are appreciative of your service, and we're sure we've not heard the last from you, because committed people and people who are involved stay involved and stay committed and dedicated to working with and for the community. So thank you, and we look forward to what the future holds for you. My guest tonight is an individual who, like myself, wants to see Daytona Beach become a better place for all of its residents, for all of its community partners, better place, period. And that individual is Stanley B. Pandy II. And Stanley is running for City Commissioner Zone 5. You know, I see signs, and having been a city clerk for Daytona Beach for 15 years, when I see someone who says their office is City Commission Zone whatever, that is not their office. The total body is the City Commission that consists of the mayor and the 6 commissioners. Okay, that's the commission. That's the body, total body. The office is commissioner and mayor. Those are the offices for the city of Daytona Beach. So you guys who have signs that say you want to serve, elect you for city commission zone whatever, though it's probably, you know, literally in a way correct, but the truth is the office is called city commissioner. Okay, last part of the lesson. But Stanley is very much interested in getting your vote during the November election, which I believe is November 4th.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's going to help you to learn more about him, who he is and what he's about. And of course, I'm going to have him start off just sharing with you guys more about him personally, his background, his experience, education, and the like. But the first question I asked him was, are you a part of the Pandy family? You know, the Pandy clan, because there are a lot of them, and he says he is. So if you guys have heard of Pandy, then you're...
I'm one of them.
Amen,
Yes.
Amen. So if you would start out then, Stanley, just share with our listeners a little bit about you so they can get to know what you are all about.
Yes. As a young man, while in high school, I was taught the principles of hard work. While in high school, I enrolled into college courses at Daytona State College. I enrolled in enough college courses to complete my Associate of Arts degree 6 months after graduating from high school. I then enrolled into Florida State University, where I served on the board of a few organizations. I served on the board of an organization that served on the local and international level. We assisted the local community in academics, and we assisted the international community in natural disasters. So we raised money for individuals in third world countries who suffer from floods, typhoons, and we raised money for them so that they can get their lives back together. I then enrolled into Florida. While at Florida State University, I returned back home during summer. I wanted to give back to the community. So I served as a mentor at the Bethune-Cookman Melvick Sports Program, where I had the opportunity to meet a lot of the young individuals from the local community. I met some of the brightest young men in this program, and while meeting them, they inspired me to continue to give back to the community, to do anything that I can so that they can have any opportunity to attain the American dream. After that summer, I enrolled into Florida A&M University College of Law in Orlando, Florida. I took on a rigorous load. I graduated from Florida A&M University in May at the age of 24, 5 years after graduating from high school. So what would have ordinarily been, should have taken 7 years total, I completed it in 5 years. And
wow.
These are from principles of hard work and commitment to one's goals. These were principles that were taught by my parents, and being committed to the goals of helping individuals in the community, I chose to run for Daytona Beach City Commissioner for Zone 5.
Oh, awesome. You definitely have a great background, and it sounds like you also have a lot of community experience.
Yes.
And you know, there are times, I hate to say it, but people know and understand what I'm saying, that there are times that people in America feel like they're in a third world country.
Yes, yes.
Because there are people here who like food, like housing, like all the basic necessities, you know, the homeless people and the like, people with mental issues, people who have illnesses and sickness and etc. So it sounds like you got a little taste of that when you were away, and that is at Florida State. And since you've come back, like you were saying, you were commuting back and forth to do your law school after a short time, you decided that it was cheaper to just live at home and commute. And you were saying too that you are working right now.
Yes, I'm currently working at Indian River Elementary School in education. I love making a difference in the lives of young people. I love seeing their eyes light up when they realize that they have answered the question correctly, when they have done something that they didn't think they could do. And so I love seeing that. I love being the facilitator and helping them achieve their goals and becoming productive citizens of society.
And you were saying these are these special need children?
These are EPD students, so they do have some emotional problems. They are very intelligent. But they lack some of the social skills that some of the other students lack. And so we have to help facilitate them in staying focused and achieving their coursework.
And I know that requires a lot of patience. It requires a certain type of mindset, as well as a certain type of personality, because these young people can read you real quick.
Yes.
That's my my take on that. So apparently, they've read you and they like what they see, as if you're being successful with them, which is great.
They like me. Sometimes they call me mean, but that's just me trying to get them for the coursework.
So you're able to do the tough stuff that's needed to help them be their best, but you're also able to use your soft skills in terms of getting to know them, helping them to get to know you, and understanding them, where they're coming from.
And each student has their individual set of problems, and I try to tailor what needs to be done for each student. I see what their weaknesses are, address those weaknesses, and try and push them closer, letting them know that they can do it. They usually say, no, I can't do it, but I let them know that yes, you can do it. It may take a little bit of work, but with a lot of work comes a great reward, and I want them to see that reward. Even though that society may have labeled them, they can and will be some of the best members of society. And I want everyone to see that, and I want these students to be better than I am.
And that translates into the position that you're running for, not to make you a psychologist, counselor, etc., but there are a lot of individuals who are part of Daytona Beach who have special needs. There are a lot of people in Daytona Beach who could benefit from exploring and expanding their world and their knowledge, etc., so that they're more employable and able to get some better paying jobs. And we know that in this area too, there are those who already have the education, etc., who are underemployed, and they're working 2 or 3 jobs still, just to survive, and for their families to survive. I asked you earlier why you ran, and I know you kind of made a statement in regards to that, but if you could share with our listening audience as well some of the issues that you feel are out there in your zone. It's in Daytona Beach, I'm sure, overall as well, but probably particularly in your zone, Zone 5 in Daytona Beach.
As a whole, for Daytona Beach, the reason why I ran is because Daytona Beach is usually synonymous with a tourist destination, but I want to transform Daytona Beach into a destination and a place where individuals can become, irregardless of their past socioeconomic status, that they can attain the American dream through hard work and commitment, and that not only individuals who are born into the top 1%, but individuals who are born into the low class, lower middle class can move up into the middle class, can move up into the 1%, that the single mother out there who's working 2 jobs, the single father, the individual without a college education, and the individual with a college education can find a high-paying job where they can provide for their children, provide for their family, and where they can invest in stocks, invest in a business, start their own business, and become some of the wealthiest citizens of Daytona Beach. And right now, I feel like Daytona Beach isn't that place. I feel like, well, it's not me, it's the statistics that show Daytona Beach has a higher than average poverty rate.
True.
Our per capita income is drastically lower than other cities in
Very
the state
true.
of Florida and the United States abroad.
And the county.
And the county. And we're supposed to be one of the boisterous, our leaders paint us as a boisterous economy that's doing very well, and they're not looking at the economy as a whole and the individuals of Daytona Beach, and in particular, the individuals of Zone 5. And so, as City Commissioner, I want to bring economic development to Zone 5. That's one of the things that has been lacking from the zone. It's time that we attract businesses to this zone, so that individuals employed who live in that zone can find employment close by, that their property values will appreciate, that their children can count on their parents being home, being close to home, and that the parents will take care of the children. And I also want to start programs that will educate the people on how they can start their own small business. While walking on the campaign trail, I meet a lot of people, a lot of voters who have a lot of great ideas, who want to start a business, but they lack the resources, they lack the knowledge to start that business. And if we as a community start investing in these individuals who we tend to shun, then we will see a true transformation in the city of Daytona Beach. Small businesses employ some of the greatest amount of Americans. It's not only big businesses, and Daytona Beach tends to focus on only the big businesses. And it's time that we focus on the little man and help the little man reach his full potential.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly with you. And you were saying that when you were acting as a mentor, male mentor, you saw that spark of life. You saw that the zealousness and the young people inspired you, and I'm sure you inspired them as well. Where do you see, because one of the things you mentioned was the fact that we have all these colleges, which is really unique for an area. I know we have the three, within a 30-mile radius, 4 major colleges, but we also have other colleges as well, and we don't seem to be tapping into that as well to do some of the stuff that you're talking about doing.
And we need to recruit large firms, large highly skilled firms to see at Daytona Beach and say, we have 3 amazing colleges and universities. We have Daytona State College, Bethune-Cookman University, and Embry-Riddle University. Each of them specialize in a certain industry. If they are able to locate their firm to the city of Daytona Beach, they will have all the resources they need as far as an educated populace to make their business successful. If they locate their business at Daytona Beach, they will never have a shortage of educated individuals to be employed at their firm. And it's also important that we not only tap outside companies, but that we encourage these local graduates to start their own startups. That the graduates from Bethune-Cookman University, Embry-Riddle, Daytona State College start their own company.
And in University of Central Florida, we don't want anybody out there getting upset or whatever.
And University of Central Florida and Kaiser, that they...
Yeah, Kaiser, we've got a lot of them and a lot of potential, and not all of these students are what some would consider student age as we used to think of it, like 17, 18, 19, 20, because the average age that used to be at Daytona State was between 25 and 30. So there are people out there who want to upgrade their skills, people who are still unemployed who want to utilize their skills and their abilities, and you're right, a lot of college graduates, and in fact, the forecast for the college graduates is worse now than it was a few years back. So you've got some great ideas in terms of that, and I would agree with you. There's a lot, and I hear candidates come up and they talk about we want to do something about the entrepreneurs and that entrepreneurial spirit. They talk about it when they're candidates, but then when they get into office, they kind of drop the ball. And those who are out there who really have good ideas and who have what it takes actually to run a business are not given allowed an opportunity to do just that.
And I think we need to examine our candidates a little closer. The candidates who have been devoted to public service throughout their entire life, and not just candidates who want to be career politicians. If we find those candidates who really want to make a change, who really have the drive in their heart to make a difference, then those candidates will fight for the people. As my history shows, I have been one of those individuals who will fight for people. And the one thing I like about Daytona Beach is that Daytona State College and the other universities, we allows the single mothers, the single fathers who don't make enough money to enroll into a less expensive school. They don't have to pay high tuition, and they can enroll there. And if Daytona Beach presents them with the opportunity, they can then attain the American dream. If we bring these high-paying jobs to Daytona Beach, these single mothers, single fathers can enroll into night courses, day courses at Daytona State College at the fraction of the cost of other universities in other cities. And once they graduate from these universities, colleges in Daytona Beach, if we have the firms, if we have the companies, if we invested in what we need to invest in, and then these people who earn lower socioeconomic statuses can quickly move up the socioeconomic ladder and reach their dream in life.
And I agree with you, and even the big businesses that government seems to be investing in, they should ask that, if not require, but at least ask that they allow some internships and externships at their businesses so that the young people can get the training or the experience that they need to be able to go to something better. And I'm sure once they're there, that a good majority of them would probably end up being hired. Because we do need to diversify a lot of the businesses that are here in Daytona Beach, in Volusia County, and throughout. And the best way to do that is to introduce the young people to it. Just like you're saying, mentoring them, etc. Just a great opportunity to do that.
They usually say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so we can bring these individuals from neighborhoods that have been overlooked, neglected, like you said, to these internship programs and make connections. And these employers can see that these individuals are hardworking people, that these individuals are just like everyone else, but that they were dealt a different deck of cards in life.
Right.
That these individuals would attain employment. Most likely, I bet that these individuals attain employment, like you said, after these internships. Because I work with these individuals, and I am a product of the Benedict and Mellon Sports program. I attended there, and thanks to my mentors, thanks to them writing letters of recommendation, going out their way, looking out for individuals like me, I was able to find success and attain my goals in life. And so we invest in these programs and invest in everyone.
Yes.
So far, all we hear is subsidies being granted to large corporations. We don't hear about programs, investments made to the little people. We invest in these programs, we can see a true change in the city of Daytona Beach.
I agree, because it's the little people that are really doing the work.
Yeah.
That the big people are making the money off of, So it only makes good sense for them to, as you're calling it, to make that investment in the human capital that we have in the city of Daytona Beach, and in particular in Zone 5.
I think the other thing that is holding us back is that we have one of the highest property tax rates in the state of Florida. Having a high property tax discourages businesses.
Yes, it does.
Discourages individuals. If an individual business was thinking to move in Daytona Beach, you're going to look at their tax. They're going to look at the taxes they will have to pay. They're going to see what the city would have to offer them as an individual or business. And if we offer the second highest property tax rate and we don't offer too much in return, then that business is most likely going to relocate to other cities, and that is what is happening. We have, like I said earlier, we have some of the lowest paid individuals here. They're paying high property taxes.
Yes.
What is the incentive to move to Daytona Beach? We do offer things as a city, but there are other metropolitan cities that offer a lot more that have lower property tax rates. And so to really encourage and induce businesses, individuals to move to our city, and that's one of the things we need to tackle, is having a high property tax rate.
Definitely, and I'm glad to see that you're talking about the youth too, and the need to have some things that will provide them with not just mentorship, because they do need that, but also kind of avenues and venues that would allow them to get the much needed encouragement and experience and other support that they need too, to give them a great support system.
And I think going on with that, I think we need to attract these businesses to come to go to the local high schools where these youth are located, have career days in the local neighborhood. When I was in high school, the career day was held all the way out in Amarillo, outside of my neighborhood. My parents I was blessed, my parents were able to drive me there. But there are individuals in Zone 5 who don't have the opportunity or the ability to go out to career day near Amarillo University, and we need to start having these career days, start bringing these businesses to the heart of the community so that all the individuals can see what these companies have to offer them. When they see that they have better alternatives in life than committing a crime, then these individuals will strive toward these better alternatives. An individual doesn't want to commit a crime. They only commit a crime because the benefit outweighs the risk. But if a young man sees that he can be anything that he wants to be, that Daytona Beach has these companies that are interested in him growing and becoming a successful young man, then that individual won't commit a crime. And the city of Daytona Beach won't have to spend as much as we do on our police force.
Yes, which is very, they have a big budget that is growing every year. So it would help these young people to be able to not only have an employer or employers partner with the city and with them to give them employment opportunities, but also be able to have training opportunities and to know the other alternatives that are available, because Job Corps is available to provide training, go away, the residence is there, you get the training, you come back, they help you get a job. You've got the apprenticeship programs that are out there that are available for young people to start getting a taste of maybe when they're in school. A lot of opportunities that could, the students could avail themselves of if given the opportunity.
And the dual enrollment opportunity is a great one. I took advantage of it, and the only reason I found out was because my mom worked for a school system, and I had a guidance counselor and she wasn't my assigned guidance counselor, but she saw something in me. She went out of her way to say, Stanley, join this program. This program will benefit you now, and it will benefit you later. It will benefit you financially, and it will benefit you in knowledge. And so through her encouragement, I was able to enroll in dual enrollment program. I think as a community, and our leaders need to reach out to these parents, reach out to the children and say these opportunities are out there for you.
Absolutely.
To take advantage. The government's going to spend the money either way. And so we can either take advantage of the opportunity and educate our constituents, and not the constituents of everyone. Well, we need to educate all the constituents, but it's also important to educate our own constituents and say these opportunities are out there for you to take. Take this opportunity. You will attain a college degree at the cost of the county. It'll be free to you. You'll have your Associate of Arts degree, and then you can roll into a four-year university or go into the deployment field and make more money.
Amen. And as we were talking about earlier, it's a proven fact that the higher your education, the higher your wage earning.
Yes, the higher your wage, the more you can save, the more you can invest, the more likely you will move up in the socioeconomic ladder, that you can retire, that you can retire with enough money that you won't have to work in your 70s and 80s.
Something to really live on. I mean, there are those out there who are listening, I'm sure, who are saying, oh, he paints such a beautiful picture, but I've heard it before, some of it, not all of it, because you really have a very complete list of goals that incorporate a lot of the things that are needed as a continuum to get a person from where they are to where they want to be. But for those who say they've heard it before and, So how do we know that you're going to, if you're elected and get into office, that you're gonna do any more than, you know, those that are in office now? Because, you know, sometimes there's a lot of, go along to get along, and, you know, bending to the powers to be to do their will and look after them as opposed to those that elect you. And, you know, and there are no guarantees in life, but, what would be the assurance that you would give, the voters in Zone 5 in terms of, you know, why would you follow through? Why should they believe you'll follow through?
I would say look at my track record. Look at it while I was in high school taking courses. Look at it while I was at Florida State University taking courses, working on a full course load.
Mhm.
I was spending time to raise money for individuals halfway across the world.
Mhm.
While I could have been focused on my studies, I also focused on individuals who were suffering on the other side of the world, and I focused on individuals in the local community in Tallahassee, Florida. And so if you look at my track record in high school, I volunteered at the local middle school library, helping tutoring individuals there, helping the library assistant because they had budget cuts. So I helped the library assistant with things she needed done. During summer at Florida State University, I served as a mentor at Bethune Cookman University Adult Sports Program. So while at the from age 17 to age 24, I have been advocating for those individuals who need advocation most, and I've been there for them. And if you look at my track record and look at the track record of other politicians, and you see who has been dedicated to helping the people who need help the most since day one, I am that individual. I will fight for what is needed for the community. I don't give up. I'm driven. A lot of people don't know this about me. While in law school, I had to ride the bus to the school, and you know, if you're late for the bus, you miss the bus, you have to call a taxi. So every morning I had to wake up 2 hours, or I had to wake up earlier than any of my classmates to get ready and get on the bus so that I can go to the school. While my other classmates had cars, probably because of who their parents had were wealthy. I had to take the bus. I had to walk in the rain. I had to wait for the bus in the rain. So I'm a very driven person. When there are goals that will benefit my community, that will benefit individuals who need help the most, I will fight for those individuals no matter the cost. It's time for someone to speak up and truly fight for the community at large. Like I said, look at my track record, and from day one, I've been there for the community as a public servant, serving on the board of organizations, working on an international scale. And you know, these were unpaid positions. None of these positions were paid positions, and I'm not in it for the check for this position. I'm in it for helping the community. I've always been in it for helping the community because I like seeing someone having an opportunity that they didn't have before. I want people to be able to attain the American dream. I want them to be able to have a better life than I had. I was blessed, but you know, I want everyone to have a blessed life and be able to live a life where they can provide for their children comfortably, where they can save money, and their house won't be foreclosed on if they miss a paycheck, if they retire. So my track record shows that I'm in it for the community, and I will fight for the community every day as commissioner. You know, I'm not going to be a part-time commissioner. I'm going to be a full-time commissioner fighting for the people. And so that's how, if they need any assurance, they have my track record, they'll have my cell phone number, they can call me anytime they want to. And within reasonable hours, I will hope. But if you call me 1 o'clock in the morning, call me, yell at me, and I will fight for you.
Oh, well, that's awesome. And show up when people are saying they're holding a meeting or they need you there.
Yes.
We find sometimes, you know, when people get in office, they don't show up as much as they did when they were campaigning.
Yes.
So it's important to stay true to your word, and I think it's important what you shared in the beginning about the way that you were raised, and maybe you should reiterate some of those values that you say your parents and your family brought to the forefront and taught you as you were growing up?
Well, my mom was a teacher. My dad she is a teacher. My dad is a CNA. My dad works at night. My mom works during the day. They showed me that if you put in hard work, anything is attainable. That if you have commitment to your goals, that you can do anything. On the weekends as a young man, my mom had me read the dictionary. And I thought it was unfair at the time, but instead of playing video games while I was inside reading the dictionary, no plot, no theme of the story, no characters, it would benefit me. And so that hard work I put in at that time has benefited me throughout my entire life.
Yes.
And so
my younger son did that too. He learned a new word every day. He made himself do that.
Write some words down. And I didn't enjoy it then, but I learned that if you put in time, if you invest in yourself as a person,
yes.
You have to invest in yourself. That you will reap the rewards later on in life. My grandfather was a small business owner. He took me out on the jobs. He had me work. I worked with him. My uncles were on my mom's side were business owners. I worked with them, and so there wasn't a day where I was just sitting around the house. I was either working at home, reading dictionary, or out working with the family. And so through that hard work, I have kept that value and have worked as hard as I can for the most part in reaching my goals. And I've learned that when you work hard, anything is attainable. Teachers aren't paid that much, but we live comfortably. They were able to do a lot with their money because of hard work, strategy, and living with my parents for 24 years now, I have taken those values, I've adopted those values, and I've instilled those values within, and I continuously try and overachieve, be better than the person next to you, and you will reap the rewards in the future. You may not reap them today, you may not reap them tomorrow, but sometime you will reap what you sow. The Bible says. I thank them I thank them, my family, and the mentors that have been good then. Because even on the weekend when other children were playing, I was at the mentor program. I was a mentee, they were a mentor, and I was working hard on schoolwork. They were teaching me things so that would have a head start in comparison to the students at school. And so if we can bring that to our community, and we can educate people in our community and say, these are programs out there. If you work hard, it may not look good right now, but if you work hard and with the help of the city, it's time for the city hall to get on people's side. They can achieve their goals. Nothing. I'm one of the first people, maybe the first person in my family who's a Juris Doctor. Most people who go to law school, parents are attorneys, parents are doctors, but I'm one of the first people in my family to receive a Juris Doctor degree. And so that encourages me to do more, to be great, and I want to see my brothers and sisters, blood brothers and sisters, and my brothers and sisters who aren't related to me by blood, to do well, to go to law school, med school. If you work hard, if the city gives them the opportunities, they can achieve what they want to do. And I think going along with that, it's time we need to bring ACT prep programs to the inner city. ACT prep programs. A lot of these, what I've noticed, I attended New Smyrna Beach High School.
Let me say very quickly, hold that thought now. You're listening to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. This is WLE 1380 AM on your radio dial. That's BIG 1380 AM as well in Ormond Beach, Florida. And my guest, of course, is Stanley B. Pandy II, who is running for Daytona Beach City Commissioner, Zone 5. And just an outstanding young man, I'm sure you can tell that just from listening. He is a person who is committed, dedicated, and very passionate about serving others, not himself, but serving others. Now, you're right about the ACT, SAT preparation thing, because in the other schools, a lot of schools in the,
Yeah.
majority community, they give those to them,
Yes,
and
yes.
people say, well, I wonder why they make such great preparation.
Yes.
Preparation is important. There are no, and I'm sure you agree with this, about this, there are no dumb kids. No, they're just young people who have not had the opportunity to learn what they need to learn, or learn how to learn even, and or have the support that they need to also make them feel valued,
Yes.
and motivate them. They say you can't motivate people, but in my opinion, you can motivate by inspiration. Motivate them to be their best,
Yes.
whatever that best is. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up being a lawyer, a doctor, etc. But you could be, the best waitress. You could be the best teacher. You could be the best homemaker. You could be the best whatever, as long as you're doing your best.
Yes.
God requires that of us.
Yes, and if we have these opportunities, I learned this later on in life while studying for the LSAT, and my roommate's parents were paying for their LSAT courses. I was like, what's an LSAT course? That we just studied for the LSAT by ourselves, but apparently I learned that you pay for the course, and the course you have a teacher that helps you
Right,
do
right.
well on the LSAT. And so I was like, okay. And then I learned that other communities do this starting at the ACT, at SAT.
Mhm.
And so we bring a lot of individuals in our communities, like you said, who live below poverty. They may not be able to afford these courses. So we can bring these courses to our community,
Mhm.
community sponsored business, private partnership, and have local young men and young women enroll in these courses, so that they can do well on their ACT, SAT.
Mhm.
Then they will have a head start, and they will most likely enroll into a college or university that is, that they may not have been able to enroll into without this course. Now, hard work, if you work hard studying by yourself, yes, you may be able to get into these universities, but it doesn't hurt having a teacher. It doesn't hurt having a mentor and someone to push you and show you the tricks and techniques to use on these tests.
Right,
And
right.
so we need to bring these programs to Derbyshire Road, to
Mhm.
Cadillac, to Mason. We have a lot of local churches in our community. We need to host these programs at our school, at our churches, so that our young men and women can do very well on the ACT, SAT. While they're in mentor programs, they'll do well GPA wise. They'll go to Harvard, they'll go to Yale. If they set their mind to it, it takes a community to raise a child. But we as a community get behind all of our children, all of our young men and women.
Mhm.
They will go on and do great things. Like I said, I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I had. I learned a little bit later in life that there are test prep courses,
Uh-huh.
but I want to bring that to our community so that they can do well on these exams and that they're well prepared for these exams.
Absolutely, I agree. Given the importance of education, I'm sure you've not said this, but I'm sure you have a good faith. You have faith, right?
Yes.
Praise God. I just want to make sure, I want people to know that you also need God on your side.
Pastor Durham.
Yes, okay. Okay, you're from the ship.
I'm from the Greater Friendship
Alright,
Baptist Church.
okay, Greater Friendship Baptist Church. They call it the ship. Your pastor is L. Ronald Durham.
Yes.
Great guy, great preacher. Now, also in terms of not just the faith thing, but as you talked about, in terms of preparation and in terms of ensuring that there are opportunities and that there is this setting that allows the mindset of the young people to be not only better prepared, but to be able to see have a broader focus, beyond their immediate community even.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you gotta leave, but sometimes you leave so you can bring something better back. So you then, as you said, you've had some great opportunities and you've not squandered any of those. You've actually utilized every opportunity, and sometimes, maybe through your own, not dread, but like you were saying, walking in the rain and this, that, and the other, and watching others around you who had an easier life.
Yes.
It didn't make you bitter, it sounds like. What it did was to encourage you to do even more.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's my young son always tells me too. You know, being in Vanderbilt, he was exposed to a lot of rich kids.
Yes. It's surprising knowing how much money is out there.
Yes,
You know?
yes, you know, still graduated, you know, cum laude, well, summa cum laude.
Wow.
But, well, cum laude and then summa cum laude in school, but high school. But yeah, and he does that. Both of my kids, in fact, they do mentoring and working with young people in the high schools and the like. He did a lot of it in Orange County, and it's important. He saw the importance of it, felt the importance of it strongly, as do you. And you know, if we don't invest, I know you know this, but I'm saying it to our listeners, if we don't invest now in our young people, we've talked years over the years about a generation being lost, but if we don't do more in investing, there will be a generation that's lost.
And you see this at the college level. You know, you're one of the few African Americans at the collegiate level. It's hard to. I went to Florida State. We were somewhat diverse, but it's mostly Caucasians or other individuals other than African American. And even at Florida A&M University, and historically black college university, we are ranked as one of the most diverse law schools. But you know, there would be classes where I was the only black man in that classroom, and so we have a lot of other races in the classroom. But you know, this comes back to home.
Yes.
By not investing in our youth, by not stressing the importance of education, and not our city leaders not getting behind us and invest. You know, there are a lot of parents who stress the importance of education, but if your city's not behind you, if your city's not investing in you, then you may fall short of what you need to do. And so we need to go to our leaders, elect leaders who will invest in the youth, so that we won't see this lost generation. It's time that we become serious in addressing the real issues. You know, we usually address subsequent issues. You know, we address crime. Well, you know, why do we have a high crime rate? Maybe it's because we have a high unemployment rate. Maybe it's because our populace isn't as educated as we should be. And so we address the source of the problem, then we'll see crime, a reduction in crime. We'll see a reduction in unemployment. We'll see our community will grow. I believe W. Du Bois said that you can invest in us and we can all grow together, or you can forego investing in us and we will drag you down. Because if we're not invested in like everyone else is invested in, and we don't receive the education that everyone else receives, then we won't be able to be as productive. We may not be as productive as other communities that are invested in more.
Or have as many that are as productive.
Yes.
You know, and I heard the comment made by someone a couple of years ago that Daytona Beach, because of its lower income, you know, per capita, et cetera, that it was really dragging down the counties. Right. And it's true, you know, because they look at the average, and then if you got areas that are lower than actually they should be, it does reduce what the overall is, and that has been an issue and a problem in that city. And you know, the little major things are good, but if those major businesses and opportunities like One Daytona, whatever, are not reinvesting into the community, into the greater community, then even though they can get off of I-495, go there and leave, somewhere or other, something's gonna bleed in, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got to invest in the greater community. I think all of our leaders, all of our big business people need to do that because, you know, that's like you said, what the word says is, to whom much is given, much is required. And there is a time coming when all of what's done down here, you know, makes a difference in terms of wherever you go, up there or below. So it's just important that the people, all of the people, get involved, especially when you care about your community. As you know, and I'm hearing that from you, you do care an awful lot about the community. You're passionate about it, passionate about the young people, helping all of those who are part of your zone, as well as the city overall, but in particular, the zone for which you're running, which is Zone 5. Persons who would like to help in your campaign, how best to do that?
You can reach me at Stanley Pandy, 2 lowercase i's at gmail.com. You can visit my website at pandyforprogress.com. That's PandyProgress.com. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook using my name, Stanley Pandy II. And you can reach me there, shoot me a message. My phone number is, I'm trusting all of you. My phone number is 386-589-1410. And I don't want to seem anti-tourist, but I do want to say this. The tourist industry is mostly susceptible to market swings. And so that's one reason why I want to bring other industries to Daytona Beach.
Diversify the area, just like you diversify in terms of race, you diversify in terms of income and availability and opportunities and businesses and the like.
You know, once the economy goes on a downturn, which it always will, the first thing people will cut from their wallet is tourism. Yeah, so
all the discretionary.
All that discretionary
things.
Yeah. I'm not going to Disney World Speedway this year.
And in our area, they don't have any discretionary funds. Many times that they can, cut back or whatever, because everything you're getting, you need, unless you're part of the power elite.
And this is a consumerism. We live in a consumerism economy. So if your permanent residents can't spend money, because all their money's going to food and housing, and they can't spend any more money elsewhere at the stores, discretionary spending, disposable income, then your economy won't be as strong as it should be.
Absolutely.
You go to Jacksonville or Orlando, where they make a lot more money, you see the high income stores. You see Nordstrom, you see I don't shop these stores.
Something other than Dollar General and I hate to say that, but it's true.
Yes.
I won't say that, but I know years ago you could tell the poorness of an area by the fact how many of those dollar stores they had. And now everybody's got dollar stores, which meant everybody was hurting, but we also have a lot of business that's coming as well. And you're right, there's a need for a diversity there. If you're a tourist area, tourism is very, very important. There are high-level jobs where you can make good money, but there are very few of those.
Yes.
But it is important to an area, and it helps college students, etc., make a little income and all this kind of stuff. It helps people who need 2 or 3 jobs to be able to go and do it. But it would be great if there were more higher-paying jobs, and the Amarillo Aeronautical University, that area that they're building, and hopefully, in hearing what they're talking about, higher-paying jobs should be coming from that. Daytona One, they're talking about some higher-paying jobs coming for that. But too many times, you got the people who are coming from somewhere else that's getting those jobs.
Yes.
And not the people in the inner community, not the people from the neighborhoods that need it. And somehow or other, we've got to turn that around so that we tie requirements of hiring to those businesses that come, and other things that, and they've done that in some regards, but if you go into some of these places where they said they were going to hire a certain percentage, you look for it and you don't see it. And you say you want to hire somebody from the Daytona Beach area, and they may start out that way, but eventually that's not what they've got either. And I know there are a lot of Daytona Beach residents, the minute they get a job, they will move out of the area. Somehow we got to make it not just lucrative in terms of income, but also an area where people, and you start off saying that, I'm saying, for your words, you were saying you wanted to be a place where people choose to come.
Yes.
I used to call it, when I was a commissioner, the city of choice. But you were saying there was a phrase that you used in terms of Daytona Beach and what you'd like to see it be.
I'd like to see it in a city where any individual can attain the American dream, and we need to make it desirable to live there. You have the highest property taxes. I can go live in Port Orange or city next door and just commute to my job, like you were saying. And so we need to make it desirable, and so that when move here or people who live here, they know that they can attain the American dream here, that we're the beacon of hope in the state of Florida. You know, we need to stop thinking just on a citywide level. We need to think on a statewide, national level,
And international, as you've
level.
dealt with that,
Yes.
yeah, because there's value in drawing international
Yes.
students, international businesses and the like to the area as well.
If we can become that beacon where we're attracting people from statewide, nationwide, international, then Daytona Beach will truly, you know, we will truly transform. Since I was a young man, the leaders talk about the great boom is coming in Daytona Beach. The great boom is coming. You know, every 5 years, the boom is coming, and the boom hasn't come yet because we keep enacting the policies of yesterday. You're not going to get the boom when when your two largest employers are Volusia County Schools and the tourism industry. I work for Volusia County Schools, and you know we're not the highest paid individuals, so we don't have too much. I don't have too much money to spend, and those who are working in tourism don't have too much money to spend. And so we need to stop enacting policies of yesterday and start getting serious on becoming a rural, economic, prosperous city. And we do that by attracting highly skilled, highly paid jobs, and thinking on a statewide, nationwide, international level, attracting everyone who want to live for. See, we attract people who just come week or so. We need to attract people permanently,
Right.
who will relocate here to the city.
Instead of losing in population as we've been doing, we gain just a handful of people, but other areas are growing around
Rapidly,
us. Yes, absolutely. So to turn all of that around where the income goes up, you know, the employers with higher paying jobs increase permanent residency, we see more of an increase in that. Just a lot of positives that help everybody, because as you said, the more people earn, the more they're able to spend, the more they're able to help the businesses, the more overall businesses, the people, etc., are able to help the greater community, and we help each other.
Yes.
That's what it's all about, really helping each other.
And we need to encourage small business growth, shop at a small business when we can, and because the small business they live in the community and they spend money in the community, so we need to help these small businesses and encourage them to grow, encourage them to expand. Small business, they pay their employees more, better benefits, etc. And so we need to give other individuals a chance to become the top 1% and help foster these small businesses. You know, bring small businesses to the Zone 5, within Cookman area, and watch these areas grow.
And when they grow, we all grow.
We all grow as a whole.
The total city,
Yes.
absolutely. Well, in the last minute or two of the program, if you have any final comments you'd like to share with individuals as to why they should vote for you, and that they should definitely, there's still time to register to vote in the general election, and just final comments you'd like to share.
First, I encourage everyone to register to vote. Even if you're not going to vote for me, register to vote. Too many people have fought for our right to vote. Too many people have died for our right to vote. So this is one of the most important things that we can do as a community. You should vote for me because, as my track record shows, I'm an individual who's truly committed to serving the public. I want to be a public servant. I don't want to be self-serving. I don't want to just look out for myself. I want to look out for the community as a whole. I've been an individual who, from a young age, has volunteered, who has helped the community, who knows what it means to have to fight for what you want. And so I want to bring economic prosperity to Zone 5 and the other zones in Daytona Beach that have been overlooked. I want to bring economic prosperity to the city of Daytona Beach as a whole, attract highly skilled, highly paid jobs to the city of Daytona Beach. And I want Daytona Beach to become known as a place where individuals go to attain the American dream. It's time that we stop thinking on a local level and start thinking on a national level. And once we do that, Daytona Beach will become a great city.
Wonderful. And give them again, in closing, how they can contact you to help you and help your campaign.
You can call me at 386-589-1410. You can email me at StanleyPandy, two lowercase i's @gmail.com, or you can visit my website at pandyforprogress.com. And I'd like to thank Ms. Gwen for having me on her radio show. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a very great experience. I hope to talk to you in the future very soon.
Well, thank you so much, and I will say that Mr. Pandy initiated the contact because he was desirous of getting as much exposure as he could, and talking to as many, leaders, etc., as he could, and that shows a lot of initiative. So thank you for getting in touch with me and requesting to come on. And this has been a great interview. It's been a great opportunity, which hopefully our listeners also agree. Opportunity to get to know you, and so thank you, and we wish you much success.
Thank you.
And somehow I have the feeling that even without this, that you're still going to be successful, and it's important that we see ourselves as successful, which I would hope that you do. It sounds like you do, but you understand that, as you said before, it does take hard work, and it takes a passion and a desire to be your best. What God has prepared us to be. So my thanks to you for coming on, and it was my pleasure to have you on. All right, to all of our listeners, thank you again for listening in. Be sure to listen in to the Truth Radio Show every Thursday, starting about, we used to be 6:15, now we're kind of 6:20 p.m. So we discuss the issues, we inform, and we really about the business of empowering you, our listeners. Be sure to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com. Until next time. And happy Labor Day to everybody, too. Be sure to celebrate that, but also remember the reason for Labor Day, and it has to do with laborers, those who labor in the vineyard, those who are workers who are working hard to get income, and some, as we've stated, what they get is just basically for survival, but there are others who are working, trying to work their way out of that. And so we celebrate all of you who are out there working, and the workers, and we celebrate the employers that provide that opportunity. We celebrate God who provides everything that we have. Amen. So until next time, be informed, be empowered, stand tall for that which is right and truthful. Until next time, this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. Again, my guest, Stanley B. Pandy II, amen, who's running for City Commissioner, Zone 5 in Daytona Beach, Florida. And his name and the incumbent's name will be on the ballot, which I believe the general election is November the 4th. But early voting, etc. But if you're not registered, get registered, because there's still time. Okay? God bless, and we'll see you guys next week.
The Truth with your host, Gwen Azama-Edwards, exclusively every Thursday night on W.
You're gonna come over this way so we can get you on. Let's see how we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Yes. All right. Nicely dressed young man. I tell you, you're awesome.